I'm Anjali the I'm class of 2022. So I think the thing that most surprised me when I arrived at college was kind of having to start over with these relationships, not only with my professors, but with the students, because I think at HB it really felt so much like home because you knew everyone. Even if you were just passing in the halls, you would recognize 5 people right then and there. So I think that was a little bit difficult, just coming to this new space where I didn't really know anyone and having to start over with that. And then also the classes, academically, the classes were a lot bigger and there was a lot less support like we had at HB, so that was something I had to adapt to. So I think HB definitely prepared us really well for entering a college academic space, just because in being at HB we learned how to form close relationships with our teachers, kind of be independent in our studying and learning how to study, and also just the content we were exposed to at HB. I think a lot of it is similar to what I was exposed to the first year of my college experience, and so I think that was definitely very helpful in heading to college where there's a little bit less academic support, because we had these foundational study tools that I knew how to do. I think socially, I feel like I came into HB in 9th grade, and so it was a very similar experience building the social relationships with my peers, starting in 9th grade at HB and then also starting as a freshman in college. So that kind of helped me having had that experience already. And diversity, I think HB has a lot of different viewpoints, and so being surrounded by that very early helped me diversify my thoughts, and I was very grateful to have come into college with that viewpoint. So I would say that my college classes are about the same level of difficulty as HB. I think what really sets me apart from my peers at college is having the study tools and the knowing how to approach a exam that's coming up in 3 weeks, knowing how to lay out my studying, start early, don't start the day before, things like that, knowing how to write a 15 to 20 page paper, where in high school we might have all year, but in college you only have 3 weeks. So those kinds of things really prepared me for entering my college classes, and I think are making them not as intimidating as they are to someone coming in with none of that experience. Some life lessons I feel I learned at HB are that the relationships you make with your peers are really valuable and that they can last forever. I mean, it's only been 2 years since I graduated, and I'm still constantly in touch with all of my HB friends, and I'm so grateful for that. And so I feel I'm taking that with me into college, making close relationships, being in touch with people, asking them how they're doing. I think that's something that I definitely am carrying with me. And then also academically, I think I just learned a lot at HB about how to explore different subjects and not be afraid to do that. And I think that's definitely something I'm taking with me. So I think most of my interests are pretty much the same, but I've just expanded on them in college. I was really interested in science and STEM in high school and at HB, and I took a lot of those classes, and I was involved in the Science Research Fellowship, and I've definitely continued taking STEM classes in college and being involved in research, but I've expanded a little bit. I'm majoring in history of science, medicine, and public health, so I'm kind of more on the history side of things, and that's something that I didn't really explore at HB. So the biggest piece of advice I would give to my HB sisters is to explore everything. Even if you think you might not like it, you should just give it a shot, because you'll never know when something that you try for one day can turn into something you end up doing your entire life. And I think HB presents so many opportunities for you to try things, not even in the school, but like trips outside, going to visit new places. You never know what something can turn into, and I think that's something I've experienced at HB and into college. So as you're thinking about going into your years at HB and beyond, just like continue to explore, be curious, try new things, and not being afraid, even if they're completely like new to you. Having to start over a little bit, and the college that I go to is such a big place. There's so many people there. It's harder to navigate that when there's so many people. I feel like at HB it's a little bit of a smaller environment, which makes you feel a little bit more at home. So that's something that I've had to navigate, just forming these new relationships with people. And then academically, I think there's definitely the first year difficulties with having to take care of yourself as a person and also do school. So that was something that I struggled with. Yeah, so I was involved in quite a few fellowships at HB. It goes along with my Explore message. But I was involved in Science Research Program and the Writing Center and the Equity and Action Fellowship. And I honestly would say that the Equity and Action Fellowship prepared me a lot more than I ever thought it would. Just having to kind of think critically about social issues in my junior and senior year at HB, I think was a really valuable experience, especially coming to college where we're all like the age where we're starting to kind of like be more involved in these social issues, and having like these clubs that I can join to kind of, you know, get involved. I definitely had appreciated my experience in the fellowship and used what I learned in college. For science research, I think having the experience to do an independent project like that is just such a valuable experience, and one that I've definitely taken into college in my future research experiences. I'm pre-med at college, and that's the Science Research Fellowship was kind of like where I started to really get interested in that, and learning about like biology and human biology and disease. So. Yes, I definitely think that my relationships with my HB professors helped me so much in forming new relationships with my college professors. I think at college it can be difficult, especially your first year, because you're taking these large intro classes. There's like 200, 300 people in the lecture hall, and it can be very intimidating. So really what HB has taught me is how to ask for help, how to go to my professors, how to go to office hours. That's all been really helpful in college. And then as I'm like becoming a sophomore, junior, senior, taking smaller classes, I definitely know how to interact with my professors because of my relationships at HB. I just took a class last semester, 15 people, and so sometimes that can seem really intimidating, but I feel like because of my experience at HB, it felt very natural. Just talking to my professor, asking for help on my paper, communicating back and forth, revisions, edits, things like that. It felt very comfortable because I learned how to do it at HB.